today we will have chance to learn more about the exosomes. We have a very special guest from US, from many countries. Dr. Cole, can you say hi to everyone? We will have chance to discuss more about exosomes today. So our schedule today we have Dr. Shu, Mr. Shu. Here he is here. Okay, he's gonna talk to us about the history of ACSE and everything about exosomes from your companies, and then we will start with case sharing with Dr. Suparut, and then we'll discuss more about the exosomes that has been chance to use for alopecia. So we're not. We'd like to welcome Dr. Shoes, Mr. Shoes, to come for the talk.
Thank you. I'm Byung Cho, the founder and CEO of Aboutlens. And here, Dr. John Cole invited me to be a speaker for exosomes at this great AAHRS. So it's my honor and I'm privileged to share my knowledge on exosomes with you, great doctors. So today, this is just almost the same slide this morning, but next slide. So my background is in molecular biology, but I have been doing science-based business for the last more than 20 years. And the last conference where I was in the WCD in Singapore about 2 weeks ago. So so now exosomes are it's getting popular these days. So when you see an exosome company or technology, maybe we generally start with these nine questions because it's just brand new technology. So there is no much kind of we will see more publication, but we need to know more. So when you see any exosome companies or any exosome technology, you can make these nine questions from investment to registration actually. So why Aboutlens is a global leader in exosome industry is that we have been investing more than $75 billion for the last 6 years. And when you check any other investment at any exosome company, you will see how we are serious in terms of investment for R&D and manufacturing. That's why we have the biggest GMP compliant exosome manufacturing facility in South Korea with $31 million investment. And we have actually this year only we have 4 publications so far. So we are the biggest publisher on exosome science, on animal studies or clinical studies. And one of our missions is to cover all the dermatological application with our patents, protect our customers and doctors. So we have now 54 patents, including US patents. And actually this is our skin product, but we have also hair product or scalp product. We are seeing more than 3.5 million cases around the world for the last 4 years. And all of our sources are very safe, and we registered all of our exosomes to PCPC or in European countries as a cosmetic ingredients. About 3 months or so ago, you know AMPEX Monaco, which is one of the top anti-aging congress in the world. So you can see that our hair product is a hair rigorous, HR means hair rigorous product. This one became the best cosmetics in the world at AMPEX Monaco. We are very proud to be awarded with this nice trophy. As far as I know, we are the only Asian company who had this award so far. Yes. So what are exosomes? You can see that exosomes are very different from conventional approaches. So mostly our approaches have been small molecule-based drugs, right, or antibodies. Very recently, about 30 years ago maybe, stem cells came into our horizon or market. But the exosomes are very different. Actually, this space was empty, but with exosomes, we could see a new type of technology for our clinical application. You have to remember that the average size of exosome is 100 nanometers, and they are containing important messages. That's right. So for intercellular or interpersonal communication, we need a mobile phone or WhatsApp, something like that, to exchange important data and in text, pictures, or information, and they are exchanging every day. Actually, all of our cells are releasing exosomes to communicate with each other. And easy epidermal growth factor, something like that, should be packaged for a long distance delivery. That's the function of exosomes. So there are a lot of types of exosomes on the market, but Aboutlens has been focusing on adipose stem cell derived exosomes because I chose adipose stem cells and their exosome. Why? Our skin is the biggest organ in our body, and in the morning, Dr. John mentioned that adipose tissue has the biggest number of stem cells per gram of tissue. So we believe that to be commercially viable, adipose stem cells and their exosomes are the best for our patients. Next slide. When we talk about exosomes, we could see a lot of publication these days. You can see that for the last about 15 years, the compound annual growth rate of the annual publication is about 30%. It's going up further actually these days. And we have two key exosome scientists. The first one on the left side, you see that Dr. Tsai Kyung-Lim. She's a Singaporean exosome scientist. She discovered stem cell exosomes for the first time in the world. And you are seeing here Dr. Jan Rottenberg. He's a Swedish MD PhD, and he's an expert in immunology, allergy, something like that. And in 2007, he discovered for the first time RNA transfer mediated by exosomes, which means that before his discovery, nobody believed that RNA can be transferred from one cell to another cell, and they could change the genetic expression actually. So his publication has more than 12,000 times citation numbers, and he has probably these days 6,000 times of citation. And these days, here in the United States, there is one ongoing phase 3 clinical trial to treat COVID-19 induced ARDS. It's very exciting. Maybe the drug, the first exosome-based drug will be approved by the US FDA next year. I hope so. Next slide, please. Now, you are seeing the world's largest GMP manufacturing facility to produce intravenous injection-grade stem cell exosomes. Aboutlens has been investing about $26 million these days, and we are gonna produce 3.5 million vials per year, and then I hope some of you guys can join our second RAES, which means our own Congress September in South Korea. Next slide. To produce exosomes at mass scale, we have developed our proprietary manufacturing technology named ExoSCRP. And then we are trying, our focus has been on human adipose stem cell exosomes, but our second pipeline is plant stem cell derived extracellular vesicles or exosomes. Because it's a very interesting scientific category. And also the last one is microbial exosomes or microbial EVs. Next. The production process is very similar and very simple actually. We start from mass stem cell culture, and during the culture process they are releasing exosomes into this conditioned media, which is a traditional grade technology. But we remove almost everything to purify exosomes like these by a series of filtration or column work. And let's say you have 100% of proteins, including all the cell debris or something like that. And for this process, we will have just less than 0.5% of total protein, which means that the protein amount is very limited. And you can see that these exosomes, the most important feature of exosome is they should be surrounded by lipid by membrane. It's just like a cell, to be surrounded by lipid by membrane. And then the 0.5% of total protein means that they are non-immunogenic, non-allergenic. Rather, they are very anti-inflammatory. Next. For last 5 years, we have been trying to characterize our exosomes. You can see that here are 6 important characterizations. The first one is about regeneration or cellular proliferation. Our exosomes have 150 growth factors. And on the left side, you are seeing that CD73, which is a very interesting active enzyme, which converts adenosine monophosphate into adenosine, which is a very potent anti-inflammatory agent in our body. And then the second important molecular group is microRNAs, and our exosomes are found to have 70 microRNAs, and 2 of them are very important. For example, LA27B is the single most abundant microRNAs in our adipose stem cell exosomes. They are very potent about anti-inflammation or anti-cancer actually. And this is another interesting microRNA. 29A is about anti-keloid. And here, according to Dr. Sai-Kian Lin, the Singaporean scientist, she found MSC exosomes have CD59 on the surface, and they are suppressing IL-17 production in our skin, which is about the psoriasis actually. And she found that MSC exosomes are very effective even with a topical delivery to improve psoriasis. And we can see a very interesting molecule named CD44, like this. And this CD44 naturally binds to a small chain of HA, which is abundant in our dermis. So you can see here, this is not human, but pig skin. And when we topically apply the exosomes, over time they can penetrate into deeper skin. And even when we combine RF microneedling or sonophoresis, something like that, we could drive much more exosomes in a faster way. And here we found that our exosome can promote skin barrier reconstruction, I will talk about it later. Here, you can see the green dots are green fluorescent labeled exosome taken by human donor fibroblasts or human donor popular cell. Any kind of cell can uptake MSS exosome. We call ASCE, which has 3 biological functions. And the next slide. The keyword is like regeneration plus anti-inflammation together. This is our first animal study. We could show adipose stem cell exosomes. And then this is our second publication. We could see a very long chain ceramide or dihydroceramide, which are critical for intact and normal skin barrier reconstruction. They were increased in a dose-dependent manner, while the positive control dexamethasone couldn't increase the normal synthesis of ceramide. It's very different from other approach. Next slide. This is a brand new publication, and in this publication we are showing that when we combine our exosome with HA filler or hydrogel and then inject it into mice, after 2 or 3 weeks, we could see more number of infiltrated cells, as you can see here, and more types of collagen here and elastin. So it's about kind of ultimate regenerative HA filler in the future. Next slide. We are trying to cover all the dermatological application from acne, anti-inflammation dermatitis, anti-itching, skin barrier reconstruction. One interesting thing is here, hair blackening. We could see a very nice hair blackening cases from our application. Next. Here, please let me introduce shortly about plant stem cell derived exosomes. So some people and in some countries, human or animal stem cell derived exosomes are not allowed yet. So that's why we try to develop plant based exosomes. But I don't want to crush all the whole plant, but I want to quality exosomes by culturing plant stem cells. So my first model was rose, because rose is very popular and then they have been used for cosmetic uses. So here, this is the summary. We are successful in isolating stem cells from rose. And when we culture, they are releasing extracellular vesicles. And very constantly, their size profile and their shape and their lipid biomembrane structure are very similar to humans. And these green dots are uptaken rose stem cell exosome uptaken by human donor fibroblasts, human cells, and they could induce neocollagenesis. We submitted our manuscript for publication based on our 3-year research recently. And most important, we believe we found a very nice bridge or link between plant stem cell exosomes and human cells. When we treated our rose stem cell exosomes, our cells are responding, for example, to produce more exosomes. So here, these are electron microscopy images, and here we could see a very nice cellular uptake and neocollagenesis. Melanin contents or melanogenesis was downregulated sometimes. And then when we profile the microRNA contained in our stem cell exosomes, we could see actually most of them are very different from humans, but some of them are almost the same to some sequence in humans. So, for example, I told you that anti-7B and anti-7 family is very conserved between kingdoms. And then some of the top microRNAs are related to housekeeping or cellular proliferation. Again, this is about hair, so this is about my lecture this morning. So it's all about stem cell and regeneration or anti-inflammation in our scalp. So I believe this is very interesting slide because all the stem cells in a young environment can show longer hairs, while young stem cells in an older environment can show little hair, which means that we have to make our scalp or skin environment younger by providing material like stem cell exosomes. You can find this publication from a third-party group of scientists, and they found that adipose stem cell exosomes could promote hair regeneration. Interestingly, they mixed adipose stem cell exosomes with two types of cells. Here, as a control, is only two types of cells they injected into my skin. After 2 or 3 weeks later, they could see more hair follicles here regenerated. And then they could see more PDGF with VEGF-Y, less PGF-beta 1. And adipose stem cells exosomes are related to the longevity actually. So Dr. Consuelo Boras here, she's a Spanish exosome scientist, and this is her publication that young adipose stem cell exosomes prevent frailty, improve health span, and decrease epigenetic age in older mice, which means that this already means 22 months of age that young adipose stem cell exosomes prevent frailty, improve health span, and decrease epigenetic age in older mice, which means that this already means 22 months old, which is equivalent to 70s in humans. So they have a lot of data, but let me show you just two key data. When they injected their young adipose stem cell exosomes intravenously, they could see a hair regrowth very nicely in 2 weeks. It happens for male and female as well. And here you can see that they couldn't see any Fraser score, which is our ultimate score maybe in about longevity actually. So also a lot of scientists are talking about microRNAs, and these microRNAs can induce the transition from telogen to anagen, and they can block DKK1, which blocks with beta-catenin signaling. And this is another interesting publication that I told you several times. LT7B, microRNA LT7B can induce longer hair in alpaca. So we tried to compare those scientific discoveries with our exosomes, and we found that there are a lot of exosomal proteins or exosomal microRNAs which are helping our scalp rejuvenation or hair loss reduction. For example, we could see Wnt proteins or PRDX1 and 6, which are very famous for anti-aging protein. And here we could see a lot of LT7B. Again, here our exosomes could be easily uptaken by human hair donor papular cells, and they could show very nice anti-aging effect against UVB irradiation. And these hairs are from one single donor, human donor. And when our scientists treated our exosomes to these hairs, they could see a longer or sometimes a thicker hair against better than minoxidil maybe. And our products contain exosomes, adipose stem cell exosome, in addition to other ingredients which can create a synergistic effect. As you know, exosomes are one of the best materials, but they are very expensive. So we are by developing a special formulation, we are trying to simulate the whole potential of magnetic exosomes. And here, with our product, our scientist was observed that the shape of hair burn in these groups, and we could see our finished product could maintain the best shape of hair burn. And our dermatologist, hair dermatologist, Professor Park, hired 29 patients for microneedling therapy with our product for 24 weeks. And he could see a statistically significant hair, the number of hair or last hair loss. And in every aspect, they could see a nice improvement, and they found that our treatment was safe. And a lot of dermatologists are applying our product for their patients. So Dr. Inigo Ferretti, one of our KOLs, he's combining or he's doing monotherapy treatment. And this case came from a combination with dutasteride or minoxidil. And you could see a nice improvement, but he found that in this case, more hairs, but more black hairs, which hair blackening. And then our monotherapy was very effective for androgenetic alopecia or alopecia areata.
So these on the bottom are microneedled with just the exosome? They're all microneedled?
Microneedling or intradermal injection.
Okay, and then the previous study was
It's
once a week for 24 weeks?
Yes.
Once a week?
It's 10 sessions.
10 sessions?
Yeah, for 24 weeks.
Okay.
And some of our doctors are putting their cases on their Instagram, so you can check study here. Again, here more hair, but more black hairs. So maybe I hope to do another study to find what could cause the hair blackening in the future. And this is post-menopausal cases, and this is FA cases. And all these data came from the Middle East, and I don't know the disease name here, but alopecia universalis or something like that. And some of our doctors are applying to grow hair here. And this doctor, she's practicing in Turkey, and while she's doing hair transplantation, sometimes she popularly applied or intradermal injection one day before or the day of the hair transplantation to see a very nice synergistic effect with the hair transplantation based on these three functions. And thank you. Today, this is my conclusion. Our technology and our product can help your practice and your patients. Again, please remember these 9 patients, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your excellent talk. So do you have any question from the floor? John, do you have any question?
Well, we are talking about hair. What are your protocols for treating hair loss conditions in terms of, Ryan mentioned, microneedling plus exosomes, how often, how frequent? It's not just microneedling alone. I'd assume you're adding the exosome.
Yes, true. Yeah. So generally, the standard protocol is microneedling with our product between 2 weeks and 4 weeks per session. We recommend 5 sessions. So this is the standard protocol. And sometimes our doctors are combining RF microneedling, needle RF, like Mopia, something like that, with our product to help people. And sometimes our dermatologists are using PRP and dutasteride, yeah, to treat conventional. In Europe, I was told that they should maintain or they should provide conventional nice treatment as a basic treatment, and they can put our product for synergistic.
Okay, then I have two questions. How much volume do you need to treat, let's say, an entire scalp? And second, I would imagine this treatment would be ongoing. It's not treat once and you're done.
Thank you for your attention. Our product is a lyophilized powder. So we recommend 1 ml, between 1 ml and 3 ml per treatment. So we can cover the whole scalp per person. And the duration or recurrence of hair loss actually is the Dr. Felipe mentioned at least 6 months or a year or more, a little more actually. But we need to do a very organized clinical study in the future about the duration or recurrence.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you cover. I don't know how you cover an entire scalp in 1 month.
It's a preference. So 3 ml may be very nice or not for scalp treatment. But I prefer 1 ml for myself. So.
Can you put it in some kind of like ointment that could cover more surface area than
Yeah.
saline?
So some of our doctors are combining PRP.
Yeah, but like some things, like if you have a liquid and you put it on the skin, it's always going to go here, right? Right? It's going to, or laying down, it's going to go that way. So can you put it in some other base so that you could, first of all, it won't drip, and second, you can cover a larger surface area?
But actually, when we add saline to our product, it's a little sticky. It's not just water because it contains some ingredients, and it's a little sticky. So I found that in our video we can apply with a syringe with no needle. They can apply some volume, maybe 0.2 cc per drop, and they can do microneedling together.
Okay.
Maybe you will see 2 days later.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
And then what about, we all know that exosome from adipocytes is good, but we're still not sure about the exosome from the rods. How do you compare?
Yeah, thank you. So far we could see a very similar function between adipose tissue stem cells and the rod stem cells. We finished our first phase of our R&D on rod stem cell exosomes. Now we are trying to moving into the next phase to find the exact mechanism of the multiple biological functions. But as I mentioned here, there are definitely a lot of microRNAs which can do a lot of things. But we need to be very cautious when we mention the mechanism of action because they are very complex, right? So, but we believe that, according to our another publication, we found that canized adipose stem cell exosomes have very similar profile of microRNAs to humans. So we need to do more homework to find or define the mechanism of action in the future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your great presentation. I have 2 questions. First is about the safety. Because of it is from plant-based,
Yes.
is there any additivity from it, and is it need some taste reaction or any risk of allergic reaction? Yeah.
So first of all, safety. So your question is very right. So we need to be very cautious about the safety when we apply our plant-based exosomes because they have different microbial profile. So we have done now a safety study. We have been doing a safety study we are trying to find the right dose of rose stem cell exosome for use actually. So we found that very extremely high concentration rose stem cell exosome can prevent the cellular proliferation of normal fibroblasts. So we found the right range of clinical application.
And my second question, I wonder about the action of exosome for melanocyte, because I read from your flyer is that it reduced the melanin for 75%, and how can they produce the black hair? This is controversial. Is there any paradox?
It's a very interesting observation. Basically, so in stem cell exosomes, there are a lot of anti-inflammatory materials. One of them, I mentioned that CD73. That enzyme is a very potent anti-inflammatory enzyme, which can be helpful for melanocytes. But so there are there is one controversy between anti-melanogenesis or pro-melanogenesis.
Yes, yes.
But I believe that from our observation, my thought is that I have black hairs. I was, right? But I have now a lot of white hair. But so stem cell exosomes is trying to find normalize our cells or skin. So you have a black hair.
Yeah.
So you will lose black hairs. But your stem cells will try to reverse the whitening when they are applied properly. So we could see a very different type of observation. So one of our studies in the future to apply our exosome for Caucasians, why we can revert white hair into a blonde or different colors in the future.
Okay.
Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
That's why I guess you're having sort of a decreased melanin on the skin
Sure.
and maybe an increase in the hair. It's slightly different exosome probably, right?
But I'm mentioning at the level of pure exosomes, they are working differently from tissue to tissue, I think. So, but yeah, we need to do more research about that.
Yeah, all right, so you mentioned hypersensitivity. And so exosomes are immune privileged, right? Okay. And then the next question I have is, who's your donor?
Oh yes, it's a great question. So
I could ask, like, how do you get exosomes? Like,
yes,
same question.
one of our business is to develop exosome-based drugs to replace cell-based therapy. So we have created fully GMP compliant master cell banks. That they are from liposuction of adipose tissue from Asians, young, but thank you. The donors are they have criteria. I mean, the Korean FDA has a criteria or a standard on the donors, and then and their master cell banks. So we do not isolate adipocyte or adipose stem cell directly from donors. we do reconstruction and we get adipose tissue. From there, we isolate adipose stem cells only, and then we create master cell banks. And our donors are young and healthy, early 20 or late teenagers who don't smoke, who don't drink. They are very young and healthy donors. And we do every kind of viral test or any serious test, something like that, to be fully compliant with the guidelines of the Korean FDA or European guidelines.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, go ahead. Dr. Ustam. I know that one company in Turkey, they are using exosomes for graft holding solution. Do you know something about that, or do you know any study holding solution that we are using during the hair procedure, hair transplantation? We take the graft and we put this graft on these solutions. And outside, they can be helpful. We are using sometimes some other
It's kind of
solutions.
story buffer, right?
They are using just, I don't know what is inside, but they promote a new solution, a holding solution with exosomes.
I see.
Did you
I
hear
see.
something about it?
Yeah. It's a technically it's possible, I think, because when we get our cells out of our body, they start lose something, right? And MSC exosomes or other nice exosome can slow down the aging process or the bad impact on our tissue outside our body. So technically it's possible, and there are a few patents on the use of exosomes to protect our tissue outside our body. It's technically possible.
Okay, so I'll go back into your donor. And it makes sense. Young patients, no diseases, not morbidly obese, right? So the source of the exosome can have epigenetic influences that produce, let's say, less high quality exosome or less desirable progeny, so to speak. So I have to ask, why not use cord-derived or amniotic membrane-derived cells? And the second question is going to be, how do you monitor for cell mutations in your cell bank?
Okay, good. Thank you for a great question. So on our side, we compared the potency of three types of exosomes released by three types of mesenchymal stem cell, including Watson jelly and umbilical cord and adipose stem cells. We cultured all the three types of mesenchymal stem cell, and we isolate their exosomes, and we compared the potency of the three types of exosomes in terms of cellular proliferation of our donor fibroblast. We found that there was no big difference between three types of exosomes, because these are not cell-based therapy, and exosomes should be released by their cells. So from our experience, we found that the most important thing is the manufacturing process of exosomes. So the cell type is not important. During the manufacturing process, we have a lot of opportunity to improve the production yield or potency. So we believe that we have now one of the best manufacturing process inside Escobar. And another thing is that I have no slide here, but there is one scientific publication when the scientists compared, independent from XBio, they compared 3 types of mesenchymal stem cells as well as their exosomes in terms of cardio protection. And in every test, they found adipose stem cell exosomes were the best to protect our cardio cells, I mean cardiovascular cells. And they were the best to prevent apoptosis of cardiovascular cells. And they found that the 3 important growth factors, including HGF and BFGF and VGF, the amount of those 3 growth factors, adipose stem cell exosome had the biggest amount of those 3 growth factors. I can share the publication later with you. And then when stem cell scientists compare, usually they don't compare at the same cell passage. Usually they get their bone marrow stem cells or umbilical cord stem cells from very young child or donors, but they compare with adult adipose stem cells. Those cells they have different cell passage actually.
How many times do you cycle cells through? Usually it's about 30 is about the maximum.
You mean cell passage? In generally speaking, stem cells should be less than cell passage number 10.
Yeah.
And we check every marker about the aging, like P20 or P16, something like that. They are all scientific, well-known markers, right? And we check everything. And we have
You get
documents.
the culture media from passage 10, right? So you get the condition media from passage less than 10, right?
Yes.
Less than 10.
That's good. Yeah. Okay.
So do you put anything like to make your, when during the culture, do you put anything that to make your adipocytes like stimulate here? I mean, when you want to use exosomes from adipocytes, it is differentiate between exosome that using for skin or exosome using for hair? Or is it the same?
Actually, in my view, we don't need to do that because so some people are trying to reinforce or they are focusing on specific function, but I don't want to do that kind of thing because I found that we need 2 functions, regeneration plus anti-inflammation together. So when we focus on regeneration, we lose anti-inflammatory effect. There might be a big trade-off. So I don't do that kind of things, but we are adding 1 growth factor to add more potency.
What?
What is this?
Potency.
Hockey?
Say again?
Potency.
Potent.
Yeah, potency.
Oh, like popcorn.
Sorry.
So do you have any other questions from other people from the floor? Okay, thank you very much,
Thank
Mr.
you so
Xu.
much.
So next gonna be Dr. Suparut. He's using the exosomes for around 6 months, right? So he's gonna share his case about their using that for our patients. So please.
And the other thing that he asked me that this is affect the gray hair or not because he used to have to dyeing every 2 months, something like that. But he said that my gray I found the abstract. So this study includes 20 patients from Korea also. They use the exosome, this ASE exosome with microneedling also. 10 sessions with 2 or 3 week interval for 24 weeks. So they show the hair density increase and hair thickness increase. No serious adverse reaction also. So this is my case experience. I'm the dermatologist. I'm not the hair transplant surgeon, so I usually perform the laser and combination with that. When you see his case, you will say that why does he have the hair transplant? Some of my patients do not want to have the surgery, something like that. So we treat him with oral medication, topical medicine, PRP, fractional laser for 4 years. You see improvement. But when they got the exosome, so at the exosome treatment therapy, with the fractional laser, I perform the fractional laser first and add the exosome 2 ml, 2.5 ml after that. So he feel that he's satisfied with the result. And the second session, I think you can see, sorry for some of the poor quality of the photo. Okay, so I think the patient satisfied quite a lot, and knows, he said that previously he got the PRP, he did not feel much response at this exosome. The second case, because this is only 2 sessions, the improvement on this case also. The previous case, I usually use the fractional laser, but in this case, I use the micro needling, and I apply exosome first, and then perform the micro needling. This is he is 50 already, so even in the front, he feel the improvement. The other thing, because he used to have to hair dyeing every 2 months, something like that, but he said that, oh, my gray hair turn into the black, something like that. Okay, this is also. And this is the last case that I would like to show you. This case come to me, he have the previous hair transplantation, 3,000 grafts. We met maybe before the COVID 5 year before, and he had on the medication. He come to me because he want to have the Legionella activa. So I performed to him 6-month follow-up. He had improvement, but he's still on the medication also. And then he follow up with me and take the medication, fractional laser, PRP, low-level hair max, something like that for all. He still feel satisfied with the result. But he asked me anything else we can do. So when I got this, I add to exosome for 2 sessions, and he feel that his hair condition improved, hair thickness and hair density, something like that. This is, I think, so for there's evidence of win with beta-catenin, and so something like that for all. He still feel satisfied with the result, but he asked me anything else we can do. So when I got this, I add to exosome for 2 sessions, and he feel that his hair condition improved, hair thickness and hair density, something like that. For this is, I think, so for there's evidence of win with beta-catenin, and so the only few clinical study, only ASE exosome with microneedling every 1 or 2 weeks for 12 and 24 weeks, and the critical application mostly in the study or even in the practice, they used it with microneedling. So really thank you for your kind.
Thank you so much for your sharing. Very nice presentation, a nice case. You can see amazing result. We have a questions from the floor.
Thank you so much for your very first experience. My question is that why you don't inject exosome directly to scalp instead of using microneedling and apply topical?
This is as the regulation that we cannot inject. I feel that. I feel
Very
that
good answer.
regulation, but I think I have heard from the doctor from the not Philippines, Spain. He inject also, but it's he said it's off-label and the result is very good, something like that.
I think if you inject it, you need at least 8 cc's. You know, and then I don't think you get an even distribution. Like you'd be able to feel a bleb under the skin, and beside it you may not. So then you still need to massage that. You might need to apply some external energy to dissipate the volume. So if you're dealing with 1 to 3 cc's, unless you have a very controlled means of injecting, that, you know, one of the problems when you're in skin, when you go in with the needle and you apply force to your plunger, sometimes there's more resistance. Depends a little on how deep you are. Like in the dermis, you need a little more force. But if you get just below that, and we're talking, you're in the subcutaneous adipose at 2 millimeters. And so how do you make sure you're not 2.1 millimeters? And then you have no resistance, and you, with the same amount of force, you put a large volume, and it makes it impossible to treat the whole scalp. So I think the microneedling, or I do like the idea of radio frequency. We've got a ultrasonic energy delivery system in the U.S. made by Alma. It's called the TED, transepidermal delivery. Opens a 3 micrometer channel. It's painless. Which microneedling, to be effective, you're going to have to. I imagine you get bright red blood, right? So you turn their head into a pizza pie, right? And you know, it's painful, but this device is pretty cool. And the TrichoPad, I haven't any experience with it, but it could be quite interesting. It just hit Thailand. Could be a great means of distributing these exosomes. But it looks interesting, I gotta tell you.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good. Oh, and I meant to say, some of your results look better than my surgery.
Leave it for how long? And do you do the occlusion or something after that?
For the face or the scar, something like that, I usually occlude for at least 24 hours. But for the hair,
using what? You just leave it like that?
I
Not
leave it,
shampooing?
just not
Yeah.
shampooing for at least 24 hours. Ask the patient not to go to sauna, go to the gyms, and do not have a hair wash for 24 hours.
Do you inject local anesthetic before microneedling?
No, I use only 1 ml, 1
1
millimeter.
millimeter,
But you still have blood, right?
A little bit. And I use
I think
the
you have to have blood, or else it's
yes,
not deep enough.
yes. There
You
has
got-
not so much blood. I use the the pain control. I use the vibrator and also the cool air
Yeah.
to perform. But most of my practice, I use the fractional laser, fractional erbium
Okay,
glass.
that would work. So anything that disrupts the skin surface. So I think, you know, if you don't need local anesthesia with fractional laser.
No.
Okay.
A little bit funny question. Because of it increased collagen 690%. So if you inject it repeatedly on your scalp, maybe it can increase a lot of collagen and have no wrinkle on your scalp. or any tense scalp like a scar or not. Thank you. It's my joke question.
The
big problem with these studies are when you combine 2 different modalities, microneedling plus exosomes, which one did the job?
Yeah.
So you'd have to really have like a half head, where you did 1/2 with microneedling and 1/2 with microneedling plus exosomes.
Yeah, that's true.
agree with that.
I believe that in the past there was some kind of study regarding microneedling, and they found that there is no effectiveness from microneedling. So if they perform microneedling combined with exosome, it could be from the result of exosome itself.
Well, true, but you know, it's always one man's definition of microneedling might not meet mine, and so when somebody tells me they're microneedling and they're not seeing much blood, I can tell you, I scratch my head. You know, when I look at some of the results my friends get just using nanofat and microneedling, their faces, have you ever seen how they make a pizza? They put the marinara all over it. That's what they look like. And that's what you got to do, in my opinion, to drive that product in.
Yeah.
So if your definition of microneedling, like we did this study with microneedling, the MD pen, I don't think that thing has enough force to get deep. And they sent me a marketing piece recently. I said, you need to improve your device before I would be even interested in any more information. But that makes them really good. Do you ever use mechanical driven microneedling where you can move really fast? Or do you do the roller or what?
I use the pen.
Dermapen.
Just and move it.
Yeah. Well, you know, and so that's a mechanical version.
Yes.
The ones I've used, I wasn't impressed with. And so I'd rather roll. But they have some really good, I saw one recently, Dr. Tenard demonstrated. It's really nice, really nice.
I add a little bit more information, but not
Not
joke.
question.
From World Congress of Dermatology last month in Singapore, Dr. George Cosalelis tell that the depth is matter. If you create the deep wound, it can stimulate the neofolliculogenesis. But if you create smaller wound, it cannot. Okay, it may be shallow one cannot increase the follicular neogenesis, but if deep one can. They demonstrate by rat model experiment. Thank you.
From my review from the previous microneedling study, they usually claim that why they perform the microneedling is as a duct assisted delivery to make the hole for the exosome to go deep inside.
Yeah, but so if you go into the epidermis, you're not in the circulation. Once you hit that dermis, you know, you're going to get into perforators.
I see.
And that's where you're going to get that blood flow. And I think, you, in my opinion, you need to be into that dermal layer for these exosomes to be able to penetrate in and start, you know, turning things on. That's my opinion, but, you know, you've certainly got more experience at it than I do.
So I agree on that. A little bit more aggressive or deeper is better, but of course it's coming with pain. And when you use deeper, it cannot do alone without big drugs.
Well, so does childbirth, but you still go through it because, you know, the result is worth the discomfort. And so, yeah, I mean, patients might have to hurt, but.
May I ask you a question, please? I wonder if anybody don't want to do like microneedling, because I believe that everyone might not be able to do it. So what would you recommend? Like, what is other choice?
Laser device. Yeah. So we are trying to. So laser might be the next option. In the United Kingdom, we are trying to do another clinical study in combination with. I don't know the exact model, but the laser came from Otona, and we are trying to do a combination. Otona. Yeah, they have a very nice case with their laser and with our product, and they contacted us to discuss on extensive stuff. Thank you.
So thank you so much. I think it's about the time for dinner. It's too much questions. Okay. So thank you very much for you all to join us. It's very interesting and we have very knowledgeable sessions. So thank you so much for your sharing with us. So we would like you all to have a dinner together at the second floor. They will serve you the Japanese food. Thank you very much.
พี่โจอยากถ่ายรูป